Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here again with Mrs. Aakanksha Tyagi. She is the founder of EduMind Solutions, Global Empower Click, and Telopedia. She is a personal excellence coach, life designer, blogger, poetess, writer, career mentor, and NLP practitioner, IELTS trainer, and an avid storyteller. She has successfully helped and assisted more than 1,000 corporates and individuals from engineering, management, and other backgrounds to bring massive transformation in their lives and drive the vigor to sustain it throughout. She has conducted workshops on emotional intelligence, career building, communication skills, and entrepreneurship development. Her mission is to instill the sense of camaraderie and togetherness in individuals to work together and grow together instead of competing with each other. She believes in experiential learning from the core, hence, customizing the content according to the need of the trainee is mandate for her, and it has evolved her as a trainer to deliver the best to to her trainees and supporting them throughout their voyage towards success. She also got two of her poetry anthologies published by Rahi Publication and Evanice Publishing Houses by Kamla Mantham. Let's welcome Akanksha Tyagi. Good evening, Akanksha. How are you?
Good evening, Reena. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
In fact, I should be thankful for accepting it at a very short notice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
My usual question for everybody is like normally we have educationists here. So it is what brings you to education? For you, I guess I would say, what made you take up life coaching?
Wonderful.
Because
Very.
anybody who takes up a course or anybody who takes up a profession has something behind their minds or there is something they have planned for.
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. I agree with your point, Reena. So, when this word pops up, education, we need to understand the root behind each and every word that we come across. So education has been derived from a Latin word, educare. So most of the English words are from the Greek or Latin word only. So educare's real meaning is taking out from darkness. So education doesn't only mean getting degrees or having a very well qualified background. It means how aware are you about yourself, your people, your surroundings. So education, people need to understand this, that education means to make yourself aware about your surroundings, aware about yourself first educate yourself rather than the external education. First educate yourself. So when I talk about this journey of this voyage of training, so I started training myself first, and I felt that this is the need of the hour. So when I went through a training process, I discovered that the life is beautiful and you just cannot let it go waste. Let it go waste means you don't understand yourself. You have the idea about yourself given by others. People say, you seem to be hardworking. And if somebody else asks us, what are your strengths? We say hardworking. But we didn't discover that about ourselves. So when I went through that training process, when I implemented those training need analysis on me, I found that I have evolved as an individual. And at the age of 21, I started training myself. Then I realized it is very important for a kid to be trained, for an adult to be trained, for a housewife, for an entrepreneur, a corporate, everyone to be trained. It's very important. Before you understand anyone else or you get a degree, you need to educate about you. So that was my complete process of getting into this training and development industry and transforming others' lives. Thank you.
Great. So at a very young age, you've achieved that height that is required, for a life coach. So I just wanted to know exactly, like, what exactly do you do for coaching people? Like, because being a life coach and being an NLP practitioner, as far as I know, is that you can read what's going on in a person's mind, and that is how you start training them. So,
Yes, yes.
what all strategies do you involve so that these people who are going through stress, who are going through lots and lots of problems, how can they be brought back to themselves? What
Right.
strategy do you use for that?
Right. So, when we talk about anxiety, stress, depression, or getting away from yourself, these are serious issues that need to be addressed at the right point of time. Many of us, when go through these phases, we get the triggers of emotional baggage. We get the triggers of emotional issues that come across. But many of us, in contrast to that, many of us, they don't feel those triggers and they continue their life the same way they are doing this, doing their daily work. So it is very important to understand. So when I say the strategies, the tips to get a person back to themselves is little difficult, yes. And when I talk about NLP is a vast subject in itself. It has several techniques and methods that we implement for our trainees to bring them back to themselves. So, first of all, one needs to understand the triggers of stress, anxiety, or any kind of emotional baggage that they are carrying. First, they need to acknowledge that. And that acknowledgement part is very tough for an individual because they don't want to face themselves. They don't want to remember those baggages in front of at that time of training. They don't want to remember those baggage, that stress, or anything, any bad dream or any bad past that they have experienced. They don't want to keep it over here in front of them. Never. So even if they're not able to forgive it, forgive the person or forget that incident, they remember it continuously. It's there in their mind. It's there in that black and white image. The bad images are always there. The bad experiences are always in black and white, and the beautiful and the ones that you want to memorize all your life are in colorful images. So they don't want to remember it. They don't want to face themselves on that part. So it is very important for a trainee to understand that situation, understand that incident, and acknowledge that at the first. And this very process is little difficult and tough. Once the trainee gets into that process of acknowledgement and addressing that part, we move ahead with few strategies like anchoring, reframing, and there are many more in NLP. It's a very vast
It's a very vast subject. It's a very vast subject. Yes.
right. So
So,
then we
so,
start.
uh, so Akanksha, like, there are certain people, who are not ready to move out of the frame that they were earlier, where they are clinically considered as depressed with
Right.
grade 4 or grade 5 of clinical depression. So, how do you deal with such students or youngsters who are under depression? Because at times what happens is it goes till 6 to 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they are not able to move out of it. Then they feel that, okay, this is something, which has I cannot change, because
Right.
these kind of the people affected by this depression and all, I can't call them patients also, because it's they are not patients, they are victims of circumstances.
Uh, well,
that's a that's a proper word I would use for them, victim of circumstances, because nobody is born depressed,
right.
right?
Absolutely.
Nobody is
Agree.
born depressed. There are certain you can say there are certain incidents which throw them into depression, or which pulls them into depression. So
Right.
how do you tackle with such people, who really have something to do and who are capable of doing a lot, but due to being in depression, they have forgotten their real worth, They are not ready to accept the fact that yes, they are worth something.
Right.
They feel that they are useless. How do you deal with such people?
So, Reena, the people that I have dealt with are not of that high grade, but yes, we have counseled students and few corporates. So, when I say the starting phase of something, depression, anxiety, stress, they are not born over here. What happens is the society that we are living in, it requires approval of somebody else every time. So when we say that he has a stage fear, so I correct it always. He doesn't have that stage fear. He can go to the stage and he can speak very loudly, very fluently when he's all alone. But when the audience is sitting in front of him, he is scared. So he is scared of the people who are forced to judge him every time, and he's forced to please them every time, and he is trained in such a way to appease all the people, to get that appreciation, to get that acknowledgement from the people surrounding him every time. अरे शर्मा जी के बेटे की सैलरी वो एक दूसरे से तीसरे से चौथे से पहुंचते पहुंचते वो 70,000 तक पहुंच जाती है, होती 25,000 है। वो कंपटीशन का आ जाता है. He's earning 70,000, though he's earning 25,000, but till then it reaches to Verma ji, it becomes 70,000. So he has that pressure. Now people will say he has done engineering and he's earning just 25,000. So people are not bothered
ऐसा
about earning.
ऐसा क्यों? ये सच में काम कर भी रहा है या नहीं? दैट इज द क्वेश्चन.
Right.
कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये ऐसे ही झूठ झूठ बोल रहे हो कि ये इसको इतनी सैलरी मिल रही है? या एग्जैक्टली, दिस डज हैपन. And this is
Right.
where when people just start.
They're not so. In contrast, there's
I
also
don't understand why. I don't understand why does anybody's work need acknowledgement or recognition from somebody?
Hmm. Right. So
Why?
we
In
are
fact,
in support in that.
what happens is even the family members, they start comparing. कि अरे
Yes. Yes.
उसने तो उसने तो ये सब किया है, तुम क्यों नहीं कर रहे?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
तुम आगे
I
क्यों
just
नहीं कर
हो गया.
रहे? For girls and boys who don't want to do further studies in any particular subject, but yes, they are capable enough practically to enjoy life, and they can earn pretty well.
Right.
उनसे ये बोला जाता है कि अरे तुम इतना ही करोगे क्या? इससे आगे क्यों नहीं कर सकते? अगर तुम
बिल्कुल
ये
बिल्कुल.
करते तो अब तक यहाँ पहुंच गए होते.
So there are
I
many
don't
things
understand.
involved. There are many
Exactly, I
things
don't understand why,
other stuff
because
too.
I come across so many youngsters, who say, ki, ma'am, I want to do this, but I'm not capable of. I said, why? Why do you say that you're not capable of doing it? You just need to
Absolutely
have that little bit of spark in you to do anything.
right, right.
Once you
So
get
over
that spark, the
here,
sky is the limit.
yeah. So when I'm saying the acknowledgement matters a lot for many of the people because the upbringing, the society that we are living in, here we are trained to get that. We are trained to compete. We are not trained to compete with ourselves. We are trained to compete with Varmaji, Sharmaji's, Guptas, and other neighbors' son or daughter, whoever it is. उनकी बेटी की शादी 25 साल में हो गई एंड हमारी अभी 24 की हो गई है तो 25 में कर दो शादी. Competition is there. See the level of competition. The parents, the kids, everybody. So when you're coming from that family where there is this competition, you have that pressure in your mind 24 into 7 hours. Over here, to break that belief, to break that stupid values and beliefs that people are carrying, it becomes difficult. So when we say after an age of particular number, people don't adapt new things. They forget to unlearn. So it's very important to unlearn first. Unlearn those beliefs that you have been carrying. if we go back to few centuries, there were few things that we all were being following. And during that time, as we have evolved as human beings, we understood the fact behind those beliefs and those values and those systems, that we got easily were able to get rid of those values and beliefs. Similarly, in these times also, there are few things that we need to understand and acknowledge those things. So first, when I'm saying understanding yourself, a simple analysis can be done. A simple, we're not going into any spiritual thing or any gyan over here. We're just telling you simple strategies that you can follow, simple techniques that one can follow. A SWOT analysis is just listing down your few strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities and threats. Somehow you can relate your strengths and opportunities and weaknesses and threats. Now, it is very important to understand your strengths. Similarly, it is very important to understand your weaknesses. Now, there are two kinds of people. One who always say, I cannot do this. मैं इस चीज के लिए बना ही नहीं हूँ. I don't have those capabilities. I don't have those skills that I can learn this XYZ thing. The other ones, I'm good at everything. I'm an all-rounder. I can do anything. You just name it and I have it. They just say this way and they're not ready to acknowledge their weaknesses. So both the people can be dangerous for themselves. So when I know my weakness, I can work on it. That doesn't mean that I need to blow a trumpet everywhere that I have this weakness. No, you have it in your mind and you can work on it and you can grow. So I always repeat these lines, Rina. I was in 11th standard when my father was operated, and outside that we were in army, and outside that military hospital's open heart surgery center, it was written, "अगर दिल खोल लिया होता यारों के साथ, अगर दिल खोल लिया होता यारों के साथ, तो आज नहीं खोलना पड़ता औजारों के साथ." So for a girl who is just 16 years old at that time, the lines didn't have any meaning. But now, when I have evolved as an individual, I have experienced my share of ups and downs. I understand very well these lines. So that emotional baggage that we all are carrying, that bad experiences of our, that failures of our, that गलती वाला चीज जो हमारे दिमाग में था स्कूल टाइम में कि ये बच्चा कुछ नहीं कर सकता, टीचर बोलती है ये इसका ध्यान पढ़ने में है ही नहीं सर, इसको तो लेके जाओ घर में.
He is useless. He cannot do anything. He just
favorite word of teacher. Yeah.
wasting his money. At times, even family members, you are a useless creature.
Right.
I don't understand why.
Right. So I have seen students, I have seen trainees, when once we start that introspection part, when they came up with this their past memories, they have tears rolling down their eyes. I was just 8 years old when my mother said this, when my father said this. I was not nervous when the neighbor uncle said this thing to me, but I felt hopeless. I thought there's nothing to live in this world. When my mom said this thing to me, when my dad said this thing to me. So the people who are surrounding you, the close ones, they play a very important role in that. हम इंडिया में अगर recent survey की बात करें, the survey of 2012, if I'm not wrong, by Times of India, it said कि 90% of males in India suffer from heart attack. 90% of males. So the number is huge, as you can hear. And it was in 2012. Now the ratio might have changed, and now the women are also involved in the same. It's that एक 8 साल का बच्चा जब रोता है पहली बार, look at the belief and the values that we are giving to them. We say क्यों रो रहा है, लड़की है क्या? First, the very stupid belief that we are giving unintentionally. We don't have this thing in the mind. Maybe it is also there deep inside our mind because of the belief systems that we are carrying since ages. So when we are giving this thing to that 8-year-old child,
why this statement is made? लड़की है क्या? क्या सिर्फ लड़कियां रोती हैं, लड़के नहीं रोते? आई थिंक आज की
Have
तारीख में लड़के ज्यादा रोते हैं.
so I'll tell you, my nanny used this word for my brother, and he's 5 years younger to me, and he's all of a sudden he stopped crying, and all the tears were absorbed inside, and like, I cannot be a girl, sorry, I cannot be a girl. And since then, after 8 years, I mean, and he was 8 years old, and after that I hardly seen him crying, चाहे कोई भी situation हो. He did few attempts in some of his entrepreneurship process. He failed, but he never cried. He seemed to be depressed, but he never cried. He's a man. He cannot cry. You know, mat ko dard nahi hota, whatever it is. But it is very important to make them understand. If you have something in your mind, please take it out. That doesn't mean that you need to bang your hand on the wall. No. That doesn't mean that you need to break the door of the house. No. It means talk to someone. It means question yourself, introspect yourself. Why are you feeling sad? Why are you feeling depressed? What do you want from yourself? And above all, when you answer all the questions, it's just not that you are depressed just because of you. You're depressed for others. What people are going to think about me, what she or he is going to say about me. People are more focused on external happiness instead of internal happiness. Happiness is homemade. Home is your body. So when I get an Apple phone, I'll be happy. I'm on top of the world. When I get an iPad, I'll be happy. So your happiness depends on the gadget you are buying. Your happiness depends on the branded t-shirt you are buying. This is what we are teaching to our children. We are not teaching them the self-love. We are not teaching them to educate yourself. Pull out of darkness. Education doesn't mean degrees. People, education doesn't mean degrees, getting degrees. A mechanic who doesn't have any degree, engineering degree, knows the ABC of a car. When you take your car to mend, he knows everything. He just open the bonnet and you start working on it. But a mechanical engineer who is following this UPTU syllabus, not to name any of the curriculums. So when you ask them, they cannot work on that. The mechanic doesn't have the degree, but the engineer doesn't have the experience. Both of them are on the same page, without a degree, without
With a
experience. Yes, our system is about learning by rote. It's not learning by discovering. It's not learning by experiencing. Experiential learning is lacking in our system. Though I have
it's
seen
completely
major changes.
it's completely vanished, you know. It's completely
Yes.
vanished.
Few changes I have noticed. If I compare my time with my daughter's time, I have noticed few changes, and I would appreciate if every parent acknowledge the same thing as I have experienced that. Yes, few things are there, but we need to understand that we cannot force any child or any adult to do XYZ thing. They have some interest, they have some passion that they need to follow. We have seen there are few engineers and other people who come from various backgrounds, and they shifted their careers after some point of time when they had this hold on their life. When they think now they can make decisions about their life, they switch their careers. Now I live life according to me. Now I don't have my mom or my dad who can say no, don't do that. I'll do, and they do with us. So let them live their life, let them explore, let them learn, let them make their share of experiences. Let them do that. You just guide them. You just help them to understand. Don't dominate on them. Don't rule over them. What I tell my students every time is, let not the mind become you. Understand your mind. So the first step towards understanding yourself comes the solitude. The SIMS, ritual of 60 minutes of solitude, wherein you can sit with yourself in a silent place in solitude and you can talk to yourself. Talking to yourself is a wonderful, wonderful process. And once you start doing that, you will understand yourself better. And once you understand yourself better, you can do anything, anything. Impossible word has I am possible in it. Whatever your mind can think, you can achieve it. Believe me, you can achieve it. So being a non-technical person, I'm a non-technical person. I'm not an engineer. I built my website because I wanted to. That doesn't mean that I need to learn Java and coding or C++. No, it was my vigor to do something interesting. I don't wanted someone else to had that. I don't want to have a dependency on someone else. कि मुझे website में कुछ update करना है, then I'll be calling that person again. Please update that. I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to work it the way I want to. So I built it. I worked on it and I built it. So there are a lot of things, a lot of questions that you need to ask yourself in solitude. Let Varmaji, Sharmaji, your teacher, your friends, everyone go away from you. Just be with you at peace. I do understand we have few bad, good, and other stuff that has happened in the past, but don't make your present as present. You just break the word. Present means gift that is given to you, the present, right? But when you are always thinking about your past, even in the present, so present becomes past again. That is pre. पहले से sent, भेजा हुआ, pre-sent. And if the present is not the present, then the future is going to be the same. One holy soul once said, if you keep on doing the same thing you were doing, you will get the same results. So in order to get the different results, you need to do different things or different things that need to be done in order to get different results. All right. So if you all have any question in between, you can just mention in the comment section, and probably Rina can ask those questions to me, and I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, in between, I would like to show a small video, a very small video for just 2, 3 minutes. Just give me a second.
Yes, yes, please.
For decades, people have been finding hundreds of flaws in the education system. No conceptual understanding, no creativity. that recognizes that every child is different and is questioning based so that it brings out the extraordinary human potential in every child. Growing for the Child is a nationwide movement which calls upon every teacher, every parent, every educator, every policymaker, everyone who has a role to play in the development of a child to join hands together to reform the education system and bring out the human potential in every child.
Amazing. Super.
So, this is the reality of our education system. When we are talking about systems, this is the reality
Right.
of our system. And that is why most of the kids, they go under depression as well. Because, because, yeah, because they cannot handle the pressure, that is being put on them by us and our parents. And that is where we as counselors and NLP practitioners need to step in.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Akanksha, how to remain positive in these negative and testing times, the entire world is going through.
Right. So when somebody says this is the year of crisis, I say no. This is the year of wonders. 2020 is the year of wonders. Yes, the crisis is going on, the pandemic is going on, and we need to be alert on that part. But the rhythm of life cannot be locked down. We need to unlock that for sure. So I have gone through few biographies of the people who are very famous for their work. Few scientists like Thomas Alva Edison, Newton, and Copernicus, and few more who discovered a few things and made science to work for us. So it was probably the year 1625. Not sure of the year. Please check. But it was in 1600s only. So where this bubonic plague was there in England, and England was locked down for 1 year. So the students were sent back. So they were all there in their locked down in their houses. So at that time, many of the students left their classes, left their degrees, and they didn't work on that. But Newton was the man. Newton, as a student, he started exploring the things that he was learning. So at that time, there were prisms which were used as the antiques at home for decoration purposes. So he picked one of the prism, and there was a hole in his room where the sunbeam was coming, rays were coming through that prism. So there were many colors coming out of it. So earlier people used to take light as it is made up of one color. We didn't know that light is a color, I mean spectrum of colors earlier. So it was Newton who discovered that thing. And after that 1 year of lockdown, he came up with his journal that was published, and people accepted his findings, his the exploration that he has done, and he was acknowledged. Until now, we remember him. He developed few equations and other stuff related to light, which we all are learning in our science books and in our curriculum, in our these activities that we do in school. So Newton also faced the same thing. It's just the mindset. If you sit at home and you crib about the situation, of course we can't do about anything about the situation, but we can do about our mindset. We can do about
Exactly.
ourselves. Few things are under control, few things aren't. So let's work on the things that are under control instead of the things that we are not control in our hands, right? So if I talk about myself, in this year of wonders, that is 2020, I did a lot of things. I was actually struggling to make my website. So this is the lockdown period when I actually get my website published, and I worked on it. We used to crib that I'm not able to devote that much time to my kids, or the spouses used to complain that we don't get that much of time because of a busy schedule. Now the God has given you time, so come on, utilize it. Understand your make your relationships strengthen. better with your kids, with your spouse, with your in-laws. You have empty of time. A lot of time is there. So instead of cribbing about the situation, utilize that time, inculcate that love in yourself. So when I say this is the time or the year of wonders, so you have a lot of time with you, ample time with you. You can introspect yourself, your relationships, your mindset, you. First of all, you is very important. So you need to
Yes,
go
because
inside.
we have very less me time.
Yes. So you make sure that you get that me time, because without it, the life won't go. Without it, there's nothing. So it's very important. Without you, especially, I have seen mommies saying, "My kids are my priority." That's okay. That kids are your priorities, but for kids, you are the priority. So if you won't take care of yourself, if you don't have that aspiration to inspire, what are you giving to your kids? Your kids will imitate what they are seeing. If they say, see mama,
What is going on is that I've heard youngsters saying we've been isolated. We cannot go and meet our friends. We are stuck up at home. We cannot go out and play. Why are we isolated? So at times I just think like, how are they isolated? They are with their family.
right.
So this
So
is there in their mind, that we are isolated. So for this, I would like to ask, what is isolation of a human mind? How does one feel isolated?
okay. So probably the teenagers, the youngsters that they are talking about the isolation is that they are not able to party, they're not able to hang out with their friends. So we need to understand when it is coming out of a teenager's mouth. So it is very important that how we as parents are dealing with the kids. Are we in sync with each other as a parent, a kid? Are we really? Because if the teenager, if that kid is saying this thing, are we in sync with each other? The other thing is isolation has two parts: alone and lonely. Lonely is even if you are with a crowd of 100 people, you're not happy with yourself. 100 people are there with you. You're not lonely, but you're not happy with yourself. That is lonely. Now, the second thing is alone. So even 100 people are there with you, that is okay with you. If nobody is there with you, that is also okay with you. You're happy and content with yourself. So isolation is not that physical isolation. Isolation is the mindset. Isolation is over here. So we understand that if we follow isolation, we will keep this pandemic at bay. We understand that, but even after that we are using that why we are in isolation, we are not able to hang out with our friends, we're not able to go, we are not able to party, we're not able to arrange gatherings, we can't do that. Even if we are saying this, that does not indicate that we really want to go out. Here also comes this factor of seeing other people, the external happiness factor. There's no internal happiness. My happiness depends on other people. If somebody is going to hang out with me, I'll be happy. If I'm alone, I won't be. So alone and lonely has a very minute difference. It's good to be alone, but it's not good to be lonely. So isolation is there in the mind. Isolation does not have any symptoms or other things, but yes, it affects your mind. It really affects your mind. So we need to understand ourselves. We need to understand our mind, what we are going through. Just catch hold of that. Just sit there. Just talk to yourself. Gives that solitude time to you, and then you can move in that. Thank you.
Because you know what, right now we need to streamline things, because
Yes.
everything is gone for a toss. Everything, be it anything, it's gone for a toss. We need to see how things need to be formulated in a manner, in fact streamlined, that
About
all the
isolation
students.
now is reinventing what you are doing,
Exactly.
because challenges only make opportunities. If there are no challenges in your life, there won't be any new things. वो सेम पैटर्न ही चलता रहेगा लाइफ का. So if you are facing any challenge, if you are facing any problem in your life, so you get a good chance of doing something new. So it is an opportunity for you. Don't take it as a challenge. Don't take it as a problem. Everybody has a problem. It's just not A, B, or C
You
who's
just
going through
need
this
to
problem.
unlock the rhythm of life, you know. You just need to
Yes,
unlock the
yes.
rhythm of life.
For that,
Because
you need to go in.
until and unless
Yes,
you unlock it, you will feel isolated, you will feel depressed, you'll keep on going deep, deep, deep and deeper. So it
absolutely.
is very important to unlock the rhythm. Until and unless
Right.
you unlock the rhythm, I would like to request you to tell everybody how can one unlock the rhythm of life in today's era.
Right. So, as I said, staying positive. Now, what does staying positive mean? Staying positive is you can divide your tasks or situations into two parts: things which are in control and things which are not. So now keep the things that are not controlled, that are not in control, keep them aside and work on the things which are in control. For example, skilling yourself. You can work on skilling yourself, upgrade yourself, update yourself. मैं उस बात को फिर यहाँ पे रिपीट कर रही हूँ कि अगर आप वही चीज करते रहोगे जो पहले से करते आ रहे हो, आपको मिलता भी वही रहेगा जो पहले से मिल रहा था. अगर कुछ अलग चाहिए, कुछ डिफरेंट चाहिए, तो डिफरेंट ही करना पड़ेगा. सो इन ऑर्डर टू डू दैट समथिंग डिफरेंट, you need to upgrade yourself, you need to update yourself, skill yourself. Staying positive is the key. Now how can you stay positive? When I'm saying staying positive, a coin has two sides. So without negative there is no positive, without positive there is no negative. So we need to understand that there are phases in your life when you go through negative situation, when you have that negative mindset. But then and there, stop. Just don't go. And I'm not saying physical motion. I'm talking about the mind. The mind going here and there. Just stop then and there and understand that negative emotion. Take it out for a few seconds. Close your eyes and take it out. So the mind understands in images. Mind doesn't understand no. It understands in images. If you close your eyes, you will see. I will ask you to remember any good memory in the past. You will see it in colorful pictures, colorful images. But when I ask you to remember some bad memory of your past, it would be in black and white, and the panoramic image will be there in front of you. The mind sees everything in panoramic image, with horizontal view. It will see that. So then and there, just imagine those things that you want to get rid of. For example, a few of my trainees say that they want to see themselves as a successful person. Now, what is the definition of successful? If somebody really wants to be successful in life, do you think he'll be sitting at home right now and cribbing about the situation? Now, let me give you an example of a few women entrepreneurs that we have in our forum of Global Women Clique, where they utilize this time, they understood this crisis time, and they created solution for the problem. I'm not saying that they resolved this problem, no, but they're working, right? So, for example, few entrepreneurs who dealt in beverages, they started selling sanitizers. The idea is to sustain the work right now. So if you sustained your business in these crisis time, you will be going superb after that. That's for sure. It's about innovating, reinventing, and you have already seen a change in the schools curriculum as well. Earlier, the kids used to go to school and carry their heavy bag on the shoulders, the bottles, everything into the bus. Now they're just sitting at home with you, and in front of you, they are joining their classes. Few schools never thought of that, including me. I never thought of that it may happen. But now my kid is in front of me, and I could see what syllabus they are following and how the teachers teach the kids. I could see that. If I talk about a few months back, people asked me to take live sessions. People asked me to take training sessions on Zoom and other virtual meet apps, I was skeptical that the network won't work and there will be this or that issues. But we used to give physical trainings to the trainees, and we used to travel, and that time the body gives an answer to that. So after two sessions, you're not able to take any more sessions. But now sitting at home, I can take 5 to 6 sessions. So these are the opportunities. These are the other opportunities that are coming through. So understand those opportunities instead of just whining over that one situation. Just see the wider aspect, the broader aspect of this. You have few things still in control of you. Work on that and just unlock the rhythm of life. Just live your life, controlling the things that you can control.
Exactly, and that is what that is what is required right now, because
Yes.
people are having different kind of fears, phobias, and they are like, oh, will it fail or will it pass? The method, would it be successful or it's going to be a failure? People are still thinking about it. How is this possible? How can this go ahead? Still they are in the process of absorbing it, that yes, we've come online. So how would you differentiate between fear and failure? Because everybody is just contemplating between the two.
Right. So when somebody asks me what is fear, I always say fear is false evidence appearing real. So fear and failure, they have a similar connotation in between. So fear is when you want to try something, or when you're not sure of something and you want to try it. So you have that fear. Will it be successful, or I'll lose it, or it's going to be a failure for me? So for example, if you try and you fail, in real words, that is not a failure. But if you think, if I try and I fail, so what will happen? And you're not trying. Just because of that, you're not trying. So that is the fear. That is the real failure. So you're sitting at one place and you're thinking, now the my business is not working and I'm not getting that much of salary. So it's all finished. It's all gone. But there are few people in contrast who know I have to do something. I cannot sit idle. I have control on myself. I can do something else. Life is still there. Need to work on that. So small difference between fear and failure. Fear of not doing something is a failure. You haven't tried that thing, but you have that fear. Fear comes out of your beliefs, your values, and the things that you're carrying in your mind. Failure is not thinking about trying. Failure is you are skeptical whether I should do this or not. What if I failed? That is failure. Failure is not that you tried doing something and failed. That is not failure. That is your learning, your experience that you are getting in order to do something. So, as I have mentioned already in my few questions asked by Rina, it's all about the mindset. So one holy soul once said, if life gives you a lemon, make a lemonade out of it. Because if challenges are not going to be there, if problems are not going to be there, is it worth living a monotonous life? The same patterns you're following, the same habits you're following, the same things that are being done. Now you're getting this opportunity, make maximum use of it. Make maximum use of it. I have seen many examples, many people who have completely transformed their lives in these 6 months. And I'm sure you all know. I'm sure.
Exactly. Like things have really, in fact, people have started recognizing their real worth. They've recognized
Yes.
their talents. We've got so many mothers who become real wonderful chefs. And in fact, not only mothers, even fathers and young children, they too are developing those different hidden talents that they have, which
Right.
even they were unaware of.
Mhm.
So I think
Absolutely.
this is the time, when all of us need to introspect how and how can we develop ourselves? How can we make the maximum use of time? How can we get involved into things that interest us? Because until
Yes.
and
How can
unless,
we compete with ourselves? How can we compete
exactly,
with ourselves rather than
that was
anyone
what I
else?
was about to come. That was what
Yes.
I was about to come. Because
Yeah.
until and unless you compete with yourself, you cannot become better.
Yes. Absolutely. Agree.
So, this is the end of our session for
Okay.
today. Thank you, Akanksha, for taking that time from your
Sure.
busy schedule. And definitely for our season two, whenever we are having a mindfulness series, then I will definitely call you there too. Please be available for me whenever I tell you to.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
give
you.
me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you and namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
So here we end our session for today with Akanksha Tyagi. Tomorrow we have Dr. Sangeeta Ahuja from Faridabad. She will be talking about careers in interior designing. Thank you and namaste.